Good morning. Guess what? It's raining. Can y'all tell it's raining? Not yet, but you'll be able to hear it in a few minutes because once again I drove in from ball ground in the rain, and everybody was driving too fast, and I was worrying, and I was thinking, what y'all gonna do? We're gonna have a big pile up here. So today, if you're out and about, would you please drive slowly? Would you please drive defensively? And would you please not be one of those people who look at you like you're not going fast enough when I'm going as fast as I can in the pouring down rain? We have a guest today, and we're going to talk three things today. We're going to talk art, cooking, food, and it's not a good day to do that because I've been doing this intermittent fasting thing, which I'll just give you my opinion of it. My stomach's growling like a bear, and I'm sure this young man sitting over here will get to hear my stomach growl today. We're going to talk food and fun and art and hobbies. And everybody needs a hobby. You know, we're going to share some of Dwight's music because you know that Dwight's hobby is writing songs, and we're about to produce something that everybody out there is going to want a copy of. So we are going to share something right now. I'm doing a test run myself in the kitchen because I started listening to Bobby Kennedy, and I started listening to, it's so important, the foods and the things that we put in our mouths. So I went from Crisco, my favorite, to lard, and I'm experimenting this week. So I'll tell you next week if the experiment fails or not. Lard costs half as much. It is better for you than the Crisco. Do I love Crisco? You bet I do. I've used it for 70 years. I mean, I've used it forever. I love Crisco, but I'm doing an experiment. So one of the best ways you can get to know your children is to get in the kitchen with them and experiment with food. Take things that they don't like and put it in a recipe and use it a little differently, and maybe they'll like it. And these pork chops are an example of what I like. I like Crisco in my biscuits. I use bacon drippings and sausage drippings in my gravy, but I use Crisco until this is my last time that I did Crisco. I'm converting now to lard, and I want y'all to message me, call me, text me, tell me, do you still use lard? Because when I picked up the containers, and they're the same exact size, and the lard cost half as much, I thought, well, why hadn't I been buying lard all the time? I don't know, because it's supposed to be better for us. We'll see, but we're going to talk about that. We're going to also talk about some simple recipes, and it's crazy because y'all remember the grab it and go recipe. I created that because we were racing at racetracks, and I didn't tell the kids that it had sour cream in it and it had onions in it, because the kids would have said, I don't like sour cream and I don't like onions. Then I'd had a big war going on. So I just made it, and they ate it like crazy. They had no idea what the ingredients are. So sometimes in the kitchen, just hush your mouth about your ingredients, and you might get something in them that they think they don't like. So, okay, let me introduce my guest. His name is Brian, and he's very talented.
Thank you.
Yeah, and
it's really nice.
You are how old?
32 right now.
32. Okay, 32. I have a child who's 33, and he is he can sing, so he has an art talent, because singing is an art talent. But he can't paint, he can't draw a straight line, but he watches YouTube and he learns from YouTube. Do you watch YouTube?
Yes, I do.
And did you learn a little something watching YouTube?
Yes, I do. Even my mother actually showed me on other courses and online things to take courses to improve.
Exactly.
Especially this one as well.
Let me see this one now. When did you start painting? These are my colors.
Well, apparently I started when I was a little kid at preschool. And especially when those days growing up through homeschool, then middle school, then high school.
Right. And I understand I have a gift in here.
Oh, right here.
There's my gift. And I think this is so strange that you brought me something that is something that I really like, because my mom always did paintings of cabins, and you gave me a painting of a cabin.
Well, honestly,
how cool is that?
Yes, but honestly,
it's a church.
Yes, it is.
It's a church. Tell me about this church.
Well, it's pretty much more of a challenge for myself to take on a plein air course. But it was just a practice course for me. So
Now, what's the name of the church?
Ridgeway Baptist Church.
And it's the oldest
Yes, it is.
in Gilmer County or in all of North Georgia?
All in Gilmer County.
Okay.
Pretty much there may be other churches that are a little bit older than our church, despite the date of it.
Now these are my colors. That's so funny. It's happy. This just looks happy.
Well, it took me a lot of work on that one.
Did it?
Mm-hmm. Even also, the simple techniques of black and white. Pretty much I had to do the background first before I do the tree in black, and then get the tree of it in
That's
the color.
so pretty. That looks like spring. Doesn't that look like spring?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it looks like spring. Now tell me, what is your favorite that you've painted?
My favorite? I think it's been taking some time and work on it. Even also trying to fix it up and patch it up a bit.
That's beautiful. What is that? Is it a wolf? What is it?
It is a wolf.
Wow, that is beautiful. Now, where did you learn that technique?
I kind of naturally, honestly. It's
You
not exactly
created.
easy.
Yeah, you created that. That is so beautiful.
It came naturally over time and everything else. Even also at a vineyard and everything else, I was trying to do, when I was in North Georgia Autism Foundation, it was for 5 years. In the first year of it, I was able to sell a lot of my pieces through a certain event, and many of them were buying off the shelves.
That's awesome. This is something I was telling your mom today, because I'm a realtor and I sell a lot of houses. These are the colors that people use, black and white. Everybody is into black and white.
Mostly in black and white, but you actually could tell by the shiny and the reflection.
Little silver?
Yes.
Yeah, little silver. That is cool. I really like that. Now, does this have a name? Do you name your paintings?
Yes, it's on the back of it.
Silver wolf. Silver wolf. That is so pretty. That's beautiful.
It's an actual creature that actually exists.
I love that. That is so neat. Now, I want to see the Christmas scene, because everybody loves Christmas. And this is one of those that, even though you just use it, 2 months out of the year, you do your Christmas decorating, you could keep it up all through winter, because it doesn't have Santa Claus, it just has a snowman. And in Georgia, we have snow until February, so you don't have to take it down after Christmas.
I think everybody loves to have snow on December.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. Now, tell me about, how could people purchase your art?
Well, some of it used to be online from North Georgia Autism Foundation now these days, but now I'm just trying to display it on a different gallery at Gilmer Arts. Apparently, right now, it's still on display for all the people there, even also from the other artists that did the plein air events.
That's so neat. Now, what is that? Is that a candle?
Yes.
We all need a light in our life. So I don't know what the candle light is the name of that one, but yeah, we all need a light in our life, and that is really cool.
Thanks.
I think this should be a symbol for autism.
I think maybe so.
I think that would be really, really cool, because we all need, no matter what we're facing, we all need to see some kind of light coming in our life. And I think that is really beautiful.
That's
pretty.
I took a little bit of visualization on a course and everything else of light and shadow. It was completely different from the man's work, but I was able to create this one over time and practice.
That is so pretty, so pretty. Now, how much time do you devote to practicing art?
About an hour or two, maybe a little bit over it, but I need to make sure I actually do it correctly. But it's always important to, paint the background first before creating it.
So is that, I didn't know that about art, that you start with the background. Interesting. Interesting.
As the saying goes, farthest to closest,
There you go, okay.
Like the sky, then the grounds and the mountains. Then you have the landscapes and other things.
Wow, that is cool, that is cool. And that is displaying something that we all love, the birth of Jesus. Isn't that awesome?
Yes.
That is so pretty. Now that one looks a little dramatic.
Oh, I was just a little bit on the fantasy side a bit.
Yeah, that's, and again, you've got two pieces that you could use together in a hall or an entryway, the black and white, and create just a little visual. That is so cool. So cool. Now, let's talk about when you first started drawing. Okay, if you were little, like 3, your mom says about 3 you started.
Yes.
Did you do finger people, the little stick people? What did you start with? Do you remember?
I think when I was at preschool and everything else, it was crayons and at first. And also did try to create a rainbow at class. And I just took them and just simple enough, like a hack.
Can I see that?
Sure.
Because we've all tried to draw, and I think animals are some of the hardest things. That's amazing. That is amazing. And is this just with pencil?
Yes,
Do you do charcoal? Yeah.
Pencil only. I did this one back in high school, and
wow,
that's the first year.
That's dramatic. That's really cool. That's really cool.
But it's only also when I learned from references on, websites and all that. But, the copyright law.
Right.
But I just only did that out of practice. But the rest is my own style.
Now, let me ask you about these. Are these 2 people you might know?
No, I just abstracted them.
Okay. That is cool. That is so cool. And now, timing. Do you give yourself a certain time to finish a painting, or do you start and go back,
Sometimes you have to start and go back, but I really want to have a little bit of time for it, but life has its moments because you have to deal with all the other tasks at home and responsibilities like taking care of pets.
Right. Now, this is one of the first things that artists learn to do is an apple. And I can remember my mother started doing an apple or an orange. So, and that was kind of one of those things. Now, is this a puppy that you know, or is that one that you just created?
A puppy that I know, but I don't think it was like teddy bear. But he had a color of a ginger coat. Sweet.
So, when you sit down, do you already have an idea before you pick up your pen?
Mostly at times, but even also you have to do a little bit of abstract work. Even also, fan-based work. Even I was a fan of, everyone have a fan favorite, like a superhero,
Right.
Some people go Superman, Batman's from the DC universes, but I gone to the Marvel universe.
Spider-Man.
Yep.
Yeah. Spider-Man. I know a little boy who loves Spider-Man. I know a lot of kids who love Spider-Man. So this is the fantasy world. How cool is that? How cool is that? And there are people who make a living painting these characters and creating these characters. That is so cool. That is so cool. So cool. And that's showing the activity, isn't it? Boy. Yeah, Spider-Man's pretty active.
If I was a little bit flexible. But there's another fantasy one I'd like to show you. If you will. I don't have much on that one right now, but
okay.
So this one
what's
will
next?
Let me show you this fantasy instead.
Oh wow, is that a beach scene?
Yes.
Yes, we all fantasize going to the beach today because we're so tired of rain. We've had rain and more rain, and now you brought us sunshine.
Yeah, thanks. But I think Florida.
This is our vacation, guys.
Tropical getaway, but I think Florida have its moments of thunderstorms.
Lots of thunderstorms and lots of hurricanes. Yeah, that's true.
Here's a better sunshine and beach.
Oh, that's pretty. But I love this. That is so sweet, that young couple.
The original design for all.
That is so pretty. Yeah, that is so cool. Falling in love with art. Oh, now that's interesting. That looks like somebody who has something on his mind. Does that remind you of you?
Mostly at times.
Yeah,
yes, it is.
Yeah, that looks like you.
And my mother actually likes this angel one at first as well.
Yeah, that's really pretty.
Pretty much I got 2 or some commission. They actually wish the different design as, let's say, Sunflower is one for the reference.
Now that's interesting. Is that the same guy?
No, it ain't.
No.
It's Kingdom Hearts reference, remember?
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. That is so neat. Wow.
Let's see. Maybe I'll... That's pretty much Kingdom Hearts fan stuff.
Yeah.
Pretty much I'm just a fan of that
Now,
Roxas character.
Would you rather do pencil and charcoal, or would you rather do color? What do you like the most?
I think both and all.
Now, I was telling your mom, my mother did a really good job of painting hands. Hands are very hard to paint.
Let's see, where is that?
You got one right there?
Yeah, I think here we are.
Yeah. Because hands are one of those things, they say if you can master painting a hand, you can master painting anything. That is interesting. I was looking last night and I thought...
I think there's another one around in here somewhere. But carry on and talk.
You know how when we look at our hands, you don't look at your hands as getting old, but my veins are showing a lot. And I said I would love to have somebody paint an elderly person's hand and a young person's hands and put them together, because then you know that you're here, but this is where you're going, you know?
Yeah.
You know your hands are going to change as you age.
Yes, it does. And also sometimes abstract work can lead to...
That is neat.
Ideas.
That is neat.
I think there was here we are.
There you go. So yeah, hands. And everybody says that hands are one of those things that are hard to do. That is so cool. Now tell me, how do you feel your days today? Because I know you've been doing school, but you're out of school now?
Yeah, I'm graduated, but I'm trying to do a little bit of courses and trying to increase my reading levels and many more.
Do you like math?
Oh, I do. But there is always sometimes the reading type math. That's why I'm trying to increase my literature and reading to be a little bit on the better side.
Yeah. Now I like to read, but I don't take time to read. I think that has a lot to do with it. Sometimes we get busy and we don't take time.
Yeah, that's why we need the Audible or something like that to catch our interest.
Now, are these cards that you made?
Oh, yes, I have.
Postcards? How cool is that? And North Georgia Autism Foundation, and this, I love that light on that. That is so pretty. That's so pretty because it shows the hand. That's one of your, I think those are some of your really, really good ones. Those are really pretty.
Best impression is always important.
That's really neat. That's really neat.
Some people
and those are happy colors. Yeah.
How about this one instead?
Oh yeah, dark. This is dark. But it's really pretty. Now, is this a scene that you saw here in Gilmer County?
No, I just actually did that in realism, but abstracted, but even also learning from a famous artist, like from Bob Ross too. Learning from the techniques, but that was only made from acrylics. But those are just posted cards for to be displayed.
That's cute.
And here's
cardinals. And everybody knows what a red cardinal means. If a red cardinal comes to visit, then a loved one who's gone on to heaven has come to see you. So how neat is that?
And there's a male and female.
I love that. Yeah. I don't know why the male's always the pretty one, though. I don't get that.
Well,
you know, when we get to heaven, we'll have to ask Jesus, what's the deal with this?
Well, honestly, it doesn't matter if the males are just pure bright red, but even the females have its moments, too.
It's so cool to see them out in the yard and know that they're going to be creating. You're going to have these little eggs coming, and then new cardinals are coming. Those are beautiful.
I always end up constantly seeing them in our yard at times.
Let me ask you this. I told your mama I love to cook, but I don't like to measure. She's a nurse, so she has to do the dynamics of measuring everything and making everything's perfect and da-da-da-da-da. Do you like to cook?
I do at times. Yes, I do. Even my first time, even also at a restaurant at, you know, the Woodbridge Inn by Hans Roofer?
Right.
Oh, it's been ages, like, I've heard about him, and also for his cooking, too. That restaurant had its best moments.
Oh, yeah, it did. When the Roofer family was there, I worked for them, and I worked for every owner who ever owned it, but the only family that had their heart in the Woodbridge Inn was the Ruffert family, and their heart was completely there. And some of the greatest foods I ever put in my mouth came out of that kitchen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like the chicken soaking boca.
Yeah.
You ever had that one?
I have not.
Oh, it is just nicely cooked fried chicken and everything else. Nicely baked in the bread. And placed with nice cooked ham and mozzarella cheese on top of it.
Sounds good.
And place it in the oven to make it melt the cheese and the ham on top of each other on the chicken.
I'm thinking that is not on my diet list this week.
Sorry.
It sounds so good.
Sorry.
It sounds so good. Well, what about music? You said you like gospel music?
Yes, I do.
And what else?
Let's see, even the bit of the country Christian music as well. I'll always end up sometimes listening to with my mother at times.
Yeah. Well, we're going to take you now to some music by our one and only, our Mr. Ellijay. Mr. Ellijay has been around this town for 70 years. And he learned to pick a guitar sitting on the bed with his mom when as a little boy she handed him a guitar and he started picking. The rest is history. You've heard him, you know him, you love him. And yes, he's back in the studio. And yesterday we put together a compilation that is going to be, I think it will be your favorite CD ever. Guess who chose the music? I did. I got what I wanted finally. And so you're going to get to hear that. But we're going to share a little bit of the music on the new CD that he's just released. Now this is old music. You may not recognize any of this because this is when he's 70, and this is when he was 23. So the music has changed a lot.
I see.
A lot.
I guess and that's a lot of work on that one.
Yeah, but you're going to get to hear some of this. These are some of Dwight's very favorite songs. Some of them I really like. Some of them I must not have been around during that era because I didn't remember them. But sit back now for just a little bit of Mr. Ellijay.
Everyone he meets, he stays a stranger. With every move he makes, another chance he takes. The odds are he won't live to see tomorrow. Secret agent man, secret agent man, they've given you and taken away your name. Beware of pretty faces that you find. A pretty face can hide an evil mind. Oh, be careful what you say. You'll give yourself away. The odds are you won't live to see tomorrow. Secret agent man, secret agent man, they've given you a number and taken away your name. Let's get into it. Secret agent man, secret agent man, they've given you a number and taken away your name. Swinging on the Riviera one day and lying in the Bombay alley next day. slip while kissing persuasive lips. The odds are you won't live to see tomorrow. Secret agent man, secret agent man. They've given you a number and taken away your name.
Whether you're in the mood for chicken strips, a delicious burger, our classic banana split, or an upside-down thick blizzard treat, we've got you covered. Hot and fresh food every day, every time, and delicious DQ soft serve make the perfect pair at your favorite place. Not fast food, fan food fast. Your Blue Ridge, Ellijay, and Jasper Dairy Queens are your meet, eat, and treat headquarters.
Thank you for choosing DQ. How may I serve you?
Here's the deal. We gotta set ourselves up. See, retirement is the long game. We can't play about our future or our finances. Make moves, set up goals. Don't worry about a setback. Just save up, stack up to reach them. Let's put ourselves in the right position. Pre-game to greater things. This is pre-tirement.
See us anytime you can.
Whether you're swimming in the sea or splashing in the pool, making a masterpiece, or just making memories, writing a great American novel, or writing your term paper that's due tomorrow. Whatever you do in life, Farmers is here to protect it. For all your insurance needs, call Donald Curtis in Blue Ridge.
Okay, y'all know I love to cook, and so we're gonna cook. We're gonna cook because Trace has gone through the archives and he found some of my favorites. One of my favorites is halibut because there's something about catching it, cleaning it, cooking it, and eating it. Well, if you plan a trip to Alaska, plan a trip to catch some halibut. If you plan a trip to Jasper, Georgia, go by and get you some ground chuck and make you some grab it and go. All the recipes that I chose to do on Heart of the Home were simple, southern, and scrumptious. That was the deal. And then I got to the halibut, and I thought, I don't know how to cook halibut, but I learned. So we're going to take you to some old Heart of the Homes, but the recipes are tried and true, and I want you to get your pen, get your paper, and write down the recipe and try the things that we're going to share with y'all right now.
always on time for lunch.
Well, as long as I can grab it and go.
Honey, you can grab this one and go. I promise you, this is a simple recipe. We're going to do it quickly, and you can grab it and go.
Awesome.
This consists of canned biscuits, ground beef, onions, shredded cheese, a little bit of Hidden Valley Ranch spices, and some sour cream. How simple? Grab it and go. My guest this evening is Jerry Blue, who happens to be my UPS driver.
Hey, Sharon.
How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Love to see this boy come in the door. He's always smiling, always happy, and has killer great legs. I was teasing him about that because I thought you'd show up in shorts today.
I'm sorry, it was cold this morning.
Well, I've seen the movie Legally Blonde, and I love when that UPS driver hits the door because those girls are thrilled to death, and I think the girls in my office like when you come in too.
Well, thank you very much.
And you're single.
Yes, I am.
And you're a good cook.
Yes, I am. I love
That's
to
a
cook.
great, and what, there's 7 children in your family?
Yes, there are.
So you learned from your mom?
Yes, we did. Yes, she was a great cook.
Oh,
and,
wow.
You know, and I've got 2 hungry boys that I had to feed all the time, so
Good.
I was always cooking.
Cool. And now do your boys like to cook?
No, they like to eat, but...
They like for Dad to have it ready when they get there. That's
enjoy
a plan.
Yeah.
Well, good.
Yeah.
Well, I promised you a quick and easy recipe, and this really is a quick and easy recipe.
Super.
And it started, I've done this for about 6 weeks, and every time I make it, they just grab them and go. And I said that was so easy because we made it one day going to the go-kart track. The guys just grabbed it and went with it. And I just decided we can do it now for a dinner, and then you can do it at breakfast too with bacon and eggs. So we're going to do this one tonight for a nighttime. Now, Jerry, we have browned ground beef and chopped an onion, and I want you to add the Hidden Valley Ranch. This is dry Hidden Valley Ranch dressing like you would make dip that you'd use at parties. So this is a great combination for seasonings for this. And then you add sour cream. And I promise you, I made this about 4 times before I shared the ingredient with anybody because I was making it for some of my grandchildren. And I thought if I tell them there's sour cream in it, they'll say they don't like it. I made them enjoy it and then told them the ingredients. Now we're putting 12 ounces of shredded cheese to our sour cream, our ground beef, and our Hidden Valley Ranch dressing. And I actually keep this in the refrigerator, and then when I come home from work, I can just throw it in the oven because by the time you put it together, just a few minutes.
That does sound simple.
Really good. You can have this with a salad and some fruit, and it really is a grab it and go meal. Now we're going to spray our pan with Pam. Now the trick is you divide your biscuit in half. And you take half. You can be working on those. You just put half of the biscuit in the bottom of each one of them. And then quickly you fill those little, basically it's a little shell that it develops as it cooks.
Right.
And it covers your ground beef mixture. You take just about a tablespoonful of the mixture and put it on top of half of the biscuit. Okay, now we're putting the top of the biscuits that we've torn in half. We're just covering our mixture, and then basically it will form over and close itself up as it cooks. Now we're going to put these in the oven for about 10 minutes, and I do it at 350. You don't want to do it too fast. Sometimes you cook bread at higher temperatures, but this you do at 350. Now in about 10 minutes we can grab it and go.
Cool.
Now, Jerry, they're hot out of the oven, and they were quick.
Yes,
were they
they were.
quick?
They were very
easy,
quick. Very easy.
And what are we going to do now?
We're going to grab it and go.
We're going to grab it and go. Now, tomorrow, you bring me my plate back like you do every day.
I certainly will.
Okay.
Thank you, Sherry.
You're welcome. It was great having you here. It was great making this simple recipe. We hope you enjoy it. Stay tuned every Thursday night to Heart of the Home. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye. Hi, I'm Sherry Martin. Tonight on Heart of the Home, my guest, Miss Courtney Barrett. I met you at a go-kart track, didn't I? Because
yes, ma'am.
you race go-karts, and my son races go-karts. I used to drag race, and I know what it was like to be the woman on the track, and you're one of the few women who race go-karts, aren't you?
Yes, ma'am.
And you've been doing it how long?
About a year.
About a year. Now, my Nick loves go-kart racing. He loves it so much, we cut our trip to Alaska short. He was in Alaska fishing, and we had to come home to go to the state race where we saw you. So it's good to have hobbies, but sometimes they run into each other, don't they? Now, do you fish?
Yes, I do.
Good. What do you like to fish for?
Anything bass. We have a little pond in our neighborhood.
Do
we fish
you?
for all the time.
Well, tonight we're going to cook some halibut. And Nick brought this in from Alaska, and I've never tried this recipe before, but it sounded really good, and it sounded kind of strange. I'd never cooked with potato flakes. But our breading is going to be potato flakes. The recipe is in a cookbook that my daughter brought me back from Homer, Alaska, called The Best of the Best from Alaska Cookbook. So we've cut the little halibut into chunks, and we are going to batter it in ranch dressing, and then we're going to drop it into potato flakes. Now that just sounded strange to me. What do you think about it? Have you ever cooked with potato flakes before?
Never used
Never
potato
have. And see how white they are. I wasn't sure how it was going to work, but we're going to try it. What do you think?
Let's give it a shot.
Let's do it. We did these in 1-inch bites. They're not very big, and they don't take very long to cook, and you have to be careful. Just like you have to be careful with your nails when you're racing, because those hot pink fingernails could get caught in a steering wheel, couldn't they? Now, you got to be careful about that. Now, we're taking our halibut, dipping it in ranch dressing, and then Courtney's rolling it in the potato flakes, which is just really strange. And it's really strange to have a race car driver with hot pink fingernails, isn't it? It is. It is. That is so cute. Did you ever break a nail when you're racing?
No.
No, that's the
But they
important
get
thing. Yeah, I bet they do. You know, the first day I saw you, you had dirt and grease all down the side of your face, and I thought that was the cutest thing. I said, wow, wow. That was kind of like in Alaska. Women don't care if they shave their legs, don't care if their hair's messed up, and don't care if they have on makeup. Race girls have that attitude too, don't they? Mm-hmm. Yep. We know what's important in life. Our friend Linda Reinhardt from Alaska said the one important thing about cooking seafood is don't overcook this. And one of the restaurants we ate in, we think it did because it was a little bit dry, and you have to really be cautious about that. So don't overcook your halibut. Now, Miss Courtney, that was as fast and easy as you going around the track. And I bet it's going to be better than a win at a state race. What do you think?
I think so.
I think so. Now, Miss Courtney, those look great. They were fast, and there's something that can make them even better. The only thing wrong with the state of Alaska is they don't have sweet tea. Now, on race night, how important it is to take a gallon of Mayfield sweet tea to the track with you. And we all know I don't measure, but I can guarantee you that's just about the right amount of sugar to go in our tea. Miss Courtney and I are going to enjoy this fish. We're going to enjoy some sweet tea, and we're going to enjoy another race Saturday night. You're going to race at Carnesville again, aren't you?
Yes, ma'am.
And you're going to win.
Hopefully.
Absolutely.
So cheer me on.
Whip them boys, that's right. I may get a whipping when I get home, but I'm going to be cheering you on. So it's going to be a great Saturday night. This is a great recipe, guys. Love coming into your home. Bye-bye.
That halibut is, I swear, y'all, I'm hungry. Can you hear my stomach growling?
Mostly, but I think the rain was kind of covering it up.
Covering it up. I'm hungry. I'm hungry of all the days for us to be talking cooking. We've been talking art, and let's tell people, let's encourage others who have a little bit of art talent. Where would you tell them to start?
Well, I think it could start at somehow with painting what you were really strongest at. Mm-hmm. If you're somewhere strong at acrylics or oils or even simple pencil artwork.
Right. I think the pencil would be, because somebody came in the other day and I was signing something and they said, you have the prettiest handwriting. And I said, thank you. But I said, that's all I can do. I can't draw a straight line. I can't do art. And I think that all it takes is a little encouragement, and maybe even I could learn.
Yes. I think
I could learn, yeah.
Some people are cutting themselves off too short anyway, even if they couldn't draw a simple stick figure. Mm-hmm. I see a lot of people that actually create animations from stick figures.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, out of all the things that you've done, when you sit down, are you in a mood to paint? Are you in a mood to make a cabin? Are you in a mood to do a flower? Or do you just say, okay, I need to perfect this technique?
Well, even if you're not in a mood, you have to get yourself prepared for creating the settings of what you need to create. Mm-hmm. Like creating something that is colored, or even practice a bit with your strokes. Mm-hmm. Even if you don't have any motivation or inspiration, you have to go with the flow with it. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Trying to actually make sure you get something reference, or better words, let's see, like creating a certain frame or any paintings or anything that you could actually come across, or whatever is in your house, what is nearby, or whatever you could find on your device.
Now, speaking of devices, is the world going to go to the devil because we go to this all the time instead of going to life? I think we forget life when we get into this too much. How do you feel about that?
Well, that is a difficult situation.
Because a lot of people depend on this for everything. It's like, hey Siri, hey Google, hey da 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 da. We depend on this for a lot. Wouldn't it be nice if we depended on each other?
Yeah, I think that is true. But even also, we do not know everything and all that.
But Siri does, doesn't she?
Well, for me, I don't rely on the voice command thing at times. I
think it's good, that you don't.
Yeah, but I only use it when I'm have the device and speak to it at times. But it doesn't always catches what you're trying to say or how you pronounce it.
Exactly.
I think it's only just our accents as well because, well, you say I, it says in, or whatever you
And you know, one of my favorite things is when you're doing directions, and I don't know if your mom uses a GPS, but one of my favorite things is to go toward Dahlonega, and Siri will say 4 miles to Dahlonega, and you go, no chick, it's 4 miles to Dahlonega. So different people learn different things. Are there people that you said you have a couple of artists that you like to follow, you like to learn their techniques? Who's your favorite?
I think sometimes I still like Bob Ross's work or Thomas Kincaid.
Thomas Kincaid, oh my gosh, how amazing was he?
He's really great.
Yeah.
Or even also, I'm trying to figure, his name is Andrew Pelican or so forth. He's a Brazilian artist, and when I saw his work, when I saw his dagger brush strokes, I couldn't believe he was able to do it so fast, precise, and quick on the matter. I didn't know who that person was until my mother found out about him.
And so did you see him on YouTube?
My mother found him on YouTube at times. I actually rely on subscribing on other sites and everything else, on other artists too, of how they did on their acrylics. I'm just trying to finish with all of the acrylics before I start with more on the oils too.
Have you ever done watercolor?
Well, it's not exactly easier than I expected. I never had tried it a lot of times, but I don't know how they were able to deal with the water fluids or...
Right. I've watched people do watercolor and I'm going, how does that work? Yeah.
How I'm supposed to do it or how I'm supposed to get it shaped that way. Even also I saw, well, you know what calendars you always like to see art pieces there? Oh, it was really nice. And there's there's acrylic ones, or no, watercolored. How they were able to do it is beyond me.
I told you about an artist that I know. He does, what does he call himself? He does, oh gosh, he's a naturalist. It looks just like you saw. So he doesn't do abstract. It's just, if you see this house, when he paints it, it looks just like the house. It's almost like he took a picture with a paintbrush. Have you ever tried things like that? So you make it look exactly?
I could, but I tried it even, well, you know Buckley Vineyards?
Yeah, up here, yeah.
I had to try to do a little bit of that, but sometimes there's a little bit, you know, highlights and lights. That's also one of the important rules about it on painting too, or even also try to force it to become bright.
I remember when Larry was doing a painting in Ball Ground, he kept coming down there to get the dimension correct because he was doing the background like you talked about, and then he was going to have to put a train in the foreground, and he was trying to get the dimensions exactly right. So that has to be hard.
Oh,
that has to be hard.
Yeah, that is very hard. Yes, indeed. And not only that, I think it's also when I learned at art class at Gilmer Arts, they also taught me about the ones about the framing, cropping, and editing. Editing of things, or adding like a certain picture or item or project that you want to put in there. It's only the matters of one's perspective or one desires to add something more characteristic.
Now, how did you get involved in Gilmer art?
Well, apparently it's ironically, when after 5 years in Gilmer, North Georgia Autism Foundation slowly is losing staff members or volunteers. So apparently I took in some courses in online classes, even also from realism, of taking courses from real people or even conversing with them with other local artists.
And I know some of your work is going to be on display down in, is it Marietta?
Yes, it is. It's on that Peachtree Arts Center. Sorry.
So if people want to purchase it, they can.
Yes, like 20 of them are still there, and more artists have their works displayed. Even it's quite amazing there.
And recently there was an article about you in the Gilmer County paper, and it was because they were supporting I guess we don't think about autism in different levels, but I know I have several friends who have autistic children, and there are different levels.
Yeah.
So now you're going to go on and do a little bit of college courses?
College?
Are you going to try some college?
I was planning on it, but it's only the matter of, the entry fee or something, Even also.
But you want to keep learning. It's important to keep learning.
Yes, and I'm trying to reach a little bit higher level of literature, reading and writing, trying to reach a higher level of understanding.
Have you seen the movie Rain Man?
No, I haven't.
No, okay. He's a math wizard. He's like beyond a math wizard, and he's so smart. And I think about each one of us has a hidden talent. Your hidden talent may be art. Your hidden talent may be cooking. My only talent is cooking or talking. I can cook and I can talk, and that's about all I can do. But I don't have any artistic ability. When you started doing this, did your mom immediately say, I think he has a hidden talent?
I think that may be one of the things, but I inherited most of it from my dad. He has a little bit of artistic flair, but he's not very strong on painting the hands a bit. I'm sometimes have my trouble, but I'm trying to actually learn how. You saw those pictures. I saw the palm, the fingers.
Right.
It's always about the angling and how the hand's supposed to position itself.
Right. And when we saw the pictures that you did of dogs, it's obvious that you did some early and you got better.
Yes.
You could see from beginning to end.
Yeah, I have been beginning and developing my skill a lot. Even also from the dog or any other pieces. Oops. Yeah.
Because I could see the improvement in different things that you showed me. So what's the time frame of all this work we've been sharing?
Time frame?
Yeah, is this 5 years worth of work, 10 years worth of work?
I think 5 or 10 or so.
Okay.
But I think it's, we actually got these the guys, I think it's like 7 years of work.
Yeah.
Puppies in the cute in the bottom.
Yeah, and then I love the one where you had the dog sitting with his hand up, or with his paw up. So
paws up.
Yeah.
That's both of their paws showing.
Yeah. So you learn as you go. Now, are there things that you do and we see these people do this. Put it in the trash. Do you ever do that, or do you keep it all?
I think I try to keep it all in at times and everything else and look over it. Even also, sometimes the figure characters, you saw them as well, didn't you? Like
Spider-Man?
Sometimes how I made the person's body figure or how I made them like that way. As the saying goes, or even also when I finally understand and learn, if you draw it light, you do it right. And that's how you have to understand.
Let me see this one. I think this one, this lady, she looks like deep. She looks like she's very deep in thought.
Mostly.
Did you think about that when were you in a deep thought when you were doing that one?
Well, that is one of the things about it. Yes,
She looks very deep. Yeah. She also looks like somebody with a really trendy, cool hairdo. That's really neat. That's really
Would you please
neat.
be careful not to?
Oh yeah, not to mess them up. Oh yeah, yeah.
It will ruin it, and it's gonna be hard.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, please don't do that.
Yeah, is it good now? Yeah,
Hardly.
yeah, it's good. It's good. So if people want to pick up some of your art, how do they do it?
Pick up some of my art.
If they want to buy it? If they want to purchase it? If they want to purchase some of these, do they contact your mom? Do they contact you?
Well, sometimes they will try to contact me, but it's hard to actually trust people these days
Uh-huh.
because sometimes on online courses, online, like on Facebook, I do sometimes display it on that website as well, or web page.
Do you know about Etsy? Do you know about Etsy? Maybe your mom should check into Etsy because I have a friend who sells a lot of her stuff on Etsy.
I think my mother is talking to me about to do that as well,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
sometimes I'm just only still like a beginner on.
I think that might be a favorite.
I think that is my personal favorite right
That
there.
is really, really cool. That is really, really cool. Really cool. And then we're back to my favorite colors. Yeah, the pink. That just is so bright and so cheerful and so happy. And then this one, did you tell me that this is a gift to me?
Yes,
There's my gift. And it's what church? Ridgeway?
Ridgeway Baptist Church,
Ridgeway Baptist Church.
the oldest church in Ellijay.
There you go. There you go. I know a very special spot that I'm going to paint it near a cabin my mom painted. That's really cool. Thank you very much. That's so pretty.
Well, there is this one from Abstractedly.
Let's see. This one?
Yes.
This one?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Now that took some creativity.
Or this.
Yeah,
one.
yeah. It's hard to. Now, there you go. Now I got it. Now I got it. Yeah. So out of all of these, out of any of these, are there any things that how do you decide how you're going to price this stuff? Is it how much time you put in it? How much artistic?
Yeah, I think
How do you price them?
Well, pretty much pricing them is pretty much one of the things by time and precision and patience with it. Even with this one, it actually took me a while to.
To do that one? Yeah.
Yes, took me like at least an hour or so, but getting the dark background first and then adding the water texture of light and darkness to it to get the candle in reference to it.
That is so pretty. I love that. I love that. That gives hope to an often dark world. And often there are dark things in the world. Now this one, you going to keep this original or you going to sell it?
I think I'm still gonna plan on keeping it one day.
Yeah,
Still.
I love that. I love that. That is so pretty.
Everyone has their own personal favorites,
Yeah.
like when they take a picture.
And a lot of people do a wolf for their mascot for schools. So it would be neat if you could be commissioned to do something for a school. That would be neat.
But this is really more on the strong matter of the artistic on here.
Uh-huh.
In imaginary creativity, and that's the other thing when I was there a lot of times. Even also, about Walt Disney? He had a full set of imagination and everything else. So you have to be creative to bring logic and knowledge to it.
That's right. That's right. Now you started painting at a young age, or drawing at a young age, and then going to school and being distracted from having to learn. It's not near as much fun as art, is it?
At times, yes, but even also, every art piece is like 1,000 words. Like even from the church to this, it's 1,000 words.
That's true.
That means even also the typing and writing is also one of the reasons to improve and also increase your caliber. Especially with other art styles too.
Now, have you ever done arts and crafts shows? Have you ever done that?
I think I tried that. I think it was just only an event that I went to and everything else. I was able to sell a little bit more pieces there. Some of them were framed and some of them are not. But when they are framed, they cost a lot more.
Oh yeah, yeah. And some people like to choose their own frames too. You know, some people say, oh, well, I would like it if it were in a different frame, so it's often easier to just let them frame it themselves.
Yeah, that is one of the reasons.
Well, we're going to end today with a song by Mr. Ellijay, because Mr. Ellijay is working hard at my command, and I'm very happy that he's finally producing the things that I've asked for. And very soon you're going to get a really cool CD. Now, before we go, is there anything else you want to tell folks about you or about what they can do to be involved in art? Anything else you can think of?
Well, even if you're not inspired, you can always be persistent on practicing your technique and style and try to figure out whatever you could go with, whatever makes you feel better and happy, whatever really sparks your interest.
That's right. That's
in your own way.
So if you have just a little bit of talent, take Brian's advice and follow through. Follow through, follow through, follow through, and then all of a sudden you can produce beautiful artwork. We're going to leave you now with a song. I don't know what Trace has picked out because Trace is in command of the buttons today. But it is going to be something that is on the new CD by Mr. Ellijay. It is available at the Napa store here in town. And then he's bringing me a stack to haul around. So don't forget, local artists, local folks making a difference every single day. I can't tell you how many funerals that man has sung at. And it's because he does that gospel music too. Don't forget, his gospel CDs are still available, so you can pick them up. He had somebody order some the other day, and I said, you know, there's just something about a good gospel song that just changes the way you feel about life. So let's sit back now, and we're going to leave you with just one more song by Mr. Ellijay.
They say you're running all over town. You're gonna put me down. Well, I don't believe it, but that's what they say. They say you're playing me for a fool. The situation ain't cool, and I should just leave it. That's what they say. They say that we should be far apart. You're gonna break my poor heart if I stay. And I keep trying hard to ignore, but they keep telling me more every day. And I don't believe them, but that's what they say. No, I don't believe them, but that's what they say. Oh, my. They say that you've been with other guys. You've just been telling me lies about those people and places. That's what they say. They say that I should find me someone who won't be tempted to run to all those handsome faces. That's what they say. These people talking, they are my friends. And you